Welcome to the Glenn Beck program. Unless you don't have a radio or a TV, and if you don't, that's weird. What are you, in the store? You've probably noticed the political ads flooding all the programming. Ads like this.
Get government off our backs. We're going to take our country back.
That sounds good. But is this the time for bumper sticker solutions? The Republican Tea Party pledge to America says cut taxes for the rich and cut government. Some have even said close the government down.
Who said that?
Then what? Food and mine inspection gone?
Yes.
Forget about Border Patrol or keeping terrorists locked up.
Right.
And returning veterans. Give them a cheap voucher instead of a quality VA hospital.
Yes.
Let's dump in the rivers and pollute the air again.
Yes.
The teabagger chanting, keep your hands off my Medicare. Sorry, Medicare will be whacked hard. The same for Social Security. Schools, police, and fire departments will disintegrate.
All go away.
So Republican Tea Party folks, then what? We're all angry and frustrated. But when you vote, remember who got us into this mess in the first place.
Could it be the unions? Probably, that's probably who they, that was a union ad, so it probably wasn't the unions. I don't know a Tea Party person at all that has said, let's cut all the firemen, all the police, let's stop inspecting, let's dump our garbage into the rivers and free all the terrorists. Really? That sounds scary. Gonna cut everything. This is what this tactic is called. The old Washington Monument ploy. The Washington Monument ploy. What is that? Well, we researched this for a book that's coming out tomorrow, my new book called Broke. When the government threatened cuts to the National Park Service, the Park Service responded, ah! And then somebody said, wait a minute, the most popular monument in Washington is the Washington Monument. We'll just tell them we have to shut down the Washington Monument. Cuts were averted. The Washington Monument ploy. When you hear them say they're going to cut teachers and cops and release terrorists on the street, think, I will never tell a lie. They claim the teabaggers are going to set terrorists free. I shall never tell a lie. The Washington Monument ploy. So, who is using this Washington Monument ploy? Well, wouldn't you know it? It is this, the AFGE. That is the American Federation of Government Employees. Oh, so it's the government. So let's see if I have this right. So I pay my taxes, you pay your taxes. It goes to Washington. They pay these people. These people then give a portion of that salary, your tax dollars, to this union. And then the union pays somebody to produce this ad and then pay somebody to run this ad. So you paid for this ad. By the way, AFGE. Who is the AFGE? Who are they? Well, they're AFL-CIO. Richard Trumka. Richard, is that you? Oh my goodness, it's amazing what a small, small world this is. All these, it's like 10 people, all the same 10 people behind all of it. Weird, isn't it? More in a second, come on. Gee, calling cheap beef. That was pretty scary about releasing all the terrorists. I know. Richard Trumka. You and I, we got a party. Hello, America. Seems hard to believe, but even with everything going on today, we still may not have 50% of Americans turning out to vote next week. I know. I am not really comfortable with that. Now, part of it could be because people feel defeated, I guess. I mean, they see the crappy ads like that, and they're like, oh, what's the point? Let's see, if I vote for this guy, I get a crap sandwich. And if I vote for this guy, I get a crap sandwich with extra crap on it. Perfect. I spent some time with some friends over the weekend, and I swear to you, I thought I was being punked. I was looking for the cameras, because they were sitting around my table. They're like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to vote. Like, yeah, right. Are you serious? Then I started looking for the cameras. You're kidding me, right? Now, maybe it's because my job requires me to actually read the news, but I cannot understand the mentality. So I pursued the line of thinking, and they said, Glenn, what difference does it make? What difference does it make? There's no good choices out there. Gang, I agree with it. Let me tell you this. There is a choice. There is a choice. The Democrats and Republicans, they've always been the choice. But it seems like you vote for these guys, and they just start doing what these guys were doing. And you vote for these guys, and they start doing what these guys are doing. Why? Because they're under the progressive umbrella. That's why. What happened? The Democrats got co-opted by the progressives. The Democrats don't exist anymore. They don't. They are the Democratic Socialists. That's who they are, the Democratic Socialists. Because the progressives ate the Democrats as our grandparents knew them. Democratic Socialists. Now the Republicans are still under the same umbrella. Not all of them. There are a lot of good ones that are really trying to get out from underneath this. The Tea Party came in, and they are standing up for those Republicans that want out from underneath the umbrella. Some of them are still going to be there because they believe in big, giant government too. But there is a clear choice. If you don't save this party, if this party becomes co-opted like this party became co-opted by the progressives, it's over. You'll have a one-party system. And you're this close to it now. That's why it feels like you just keep voting for the same people. That's why. Because it's damn near a one-party system. And we don't notice it because we're arguing, no, you Republicans, no, it's you Democrats. It's the progressives. Now, what's it going to take for people to stand up for liberty? Look what's happening today. We have a government who is constantly lying to us now without any fear. I mean, they just look at us and go, these are not the droids you're looking for. It's amazing. Like that Jedi mind trick isn't working on me. Why is it working on everybody else? It's the fault of both the Republicans and the Democrats when it comes to things like inflation. If I asked you, hey, how's that inflation thing going? If you listen to the Republicans or the Democrats, or you listen to anybody in the media, they'll tell you, oh, please, it's low. Yeah, the government will tell you that it's 1.1%. But gosh, does it feel like, I mean, have you gone grocery shopping? Have you paid your bills? Because it doesn't feel like inflation is only 1%, right? So is it? The answer is no. In 1980, the government used a different methodology on how it measured inflation. So in the Carter years, we didn't measure it the same way. They just kept changing the formula until so they can look at you in the eye and say, no, it's only 1%. If we go back and we use the same measurement that we had in place in 1980, inflation today at a zero, it's 10%. Now that's a bit more alarming than near zero, isn't it? That's what's touted by the government official, near zero. Why is it extra disturbing? Because on November 3rd, the Fed hits the Weimar moment. They call it quantitative easing. I call it BS. Weimar. Because just like the Washington Monument ploy, they're covering up. They're hiding their tracks in hopes that you don't notice the crime of the century. We are buying our own bonds. They promised never to do that. Nancy Pelosi also promised in 2007 that there'd be no new deficit spending. Since that time, the debt has increased $5 trillion. Since 2007, $5 trillion. That's the crime of the century. Now the border. Oh, we hear people underneath the umbrella. Oh, all kinds of lip service on the issue for decades. But has anything been done? About 3,500 acres of southern Arizona along the Mexican border is now closed to you. Our property closed to you due to increased violence in the region. Not far from Phoenix, the #2 kidnapping capital of the world in America, Bogota, Colombia. The federal government now has just put these signs up. I hope they were paid for with stimulus dollars. Danger, public warning, travel not recommended, active drug and human smuggling area. Really, in America, there is no more rule of law on the borders. And they say that illegals are living in the shadows. Are they really? Let's see. They openly protest. They give interviews to the media. And now in Seattle, they are campaigning door to door. You're going to love this story. Here's a quote from the story on theblaze.com. When Maria Gianni is knocking on voters' doors, she's not bashful about telling people that she's in the country illegally. The 42-year-old is one of dozens of volunteers, many of them illegal immigrants, canvassing neighborhoods in the Seattle area, trying to get naturalized citizens to cast a ballot for candidates like Democratic Senator Patty Murray, who is in a neck-to-neck race with Republican Dino Rossi. Perfect. That initiative, by the way, is led by One America, a group formerly called Hate Free Zone. Don't touch the dial. I'm coming back there. Oh yes, I'm going to do it. In Maine, the largest city in Maine, Portland, there's a proposal now on the ballot that if it passes, it will give legal residents who are not U.S. citizens the right to vote. This is a growing trend. I love this in cities such as San Francisco and Chicago. San Francisco and Chicago and Portland, Oregon. What do they have? Umbrellas. Progressives. Anyway, they're considering similar legislation. They've already loosened the rules. But they're all over fixing that one. Well, you got to make sure that people have a way to vote even though they're not citizens. But is anyone in those cities in hot water? How about the 35 Illinois counties? Anyone in hot water over missing the deadline for mailing military ballots? Who deserves the right to vote more? Which one should be a higher priority? The non-legal residents or, oh, I don't know, the brave men and women who are literally dying to preserve our freedom? While we're here on the soldiers, we're still fighting a never-ending war. There is indoctrination in our schools. The anti-capitalist propaganda from George Soros' Tides Foundation still being played in thousands of our schools. They follow that up with propaganda video now that's being spread in our churches called Let There Be Stuff. That's a whole 6-chapter little workbook for people in churches and in synagogues. I wonder if they have anything for mosques. The latest from these propaganda artists is Loop Scoops. We showed these to you last week. These are cartoons to air on PBS, your tax dollars at work. And they talk about the evils of juice boxes and video games. Not video games like first-person shooter where you can shoot a cop. That's not dangerous. But the stuff used to make those video games, they're destroying the earth. So it's good that we have our priorities right. The American experiment, as you know it, is under full-fledged assault. You know it. You feel it in your gut. Progressives want to fundamentally transform America. Their words, not mine. They don't believe in the free market system. They're trying to seize this moment and grab as much power and control as they possibly can. So, now I say stuff like this, and my gosh, you run to go get your gun quick. No. There are some people on the left, and apparently some people on the right, that think violence would be the answer. Well, I'm here to tell you they are 100% wrong. Why? Why is violence simply not an option? Well, if you're on the left, I can't really help you with that one. Because what was it that Van Jones and those guys were talking about at that big meeting over the summer? Oh yeah, I remember. Get out on the streets and agitate and do the things you have to do to force this president to do the things he knows he has to do. Boy, if there's violence, it would almost be like a big government progressive would be able to use that emergency to grab even more power, take away more freedoms. So I can't help you on the left, but on the right, it instantly destroys the republic. Why? Because it forces the president to take more power and more freedoms away. Oh. Here's what you should be concentrating on. Not your anger, but the ballot box. That's where American revolutions begin. The media is doing their best to deflate the Tea Party movement and make you feel worthless, honestly. Look at the story that was happening in the Washington Post this weekend. Its headline says, "A movement without a compass." Wait a minute, I thought it was all kinds of foreign money and everything else, and it was all the GOP there. Now it's without a compass. Here's a little excerpt. The new Washington Post canvasses hundreds of local Tea Party groups, revealing a different sort of organization, one that is not so much a movement as a disparate band of vaguely connected gatherings that do surprisingly little to engage in the political process. Oh, so Bill Clinton this weekend said it's the most dangerous thing ever, and the Washington Post is saying, I'm so confused. The Tea Party has done little with politics? Really?